Queen Elizabeth II has been holding the title of Queen of England for well over 69 years. Due to the recent passing of her husband, Prince Philip, the world has come to realize that our generation will see the end of her glorious reign. Some may not believe this topic should have any good relevance to us in the United States, but the Queen also influences our lives as well, and the least we can do is learn a little more about her and her family. Queen Elizabeth II is the daughter of the Duke and Duchess of York. Her uncle was crowned king in January of 1936, making his brother, her dad, the next in line for the throne. But when King Edward VIII had to choose between the crown and his U.S. commoner, twice divorcee wife, he chose her, and the crown went to Elizabeth's dad. Before her father became king, Elizabeth grew up having a pretty normal life for a royal. She was the oldest of two and had a younger sister named Margaret. Margaret was 4 years younger than Elizabeth and seemed to live in her shadow as soon as Elizabeth became queen. Margaret was always seen with a cigarette or some type of alcohol in her hands. She passed away at the age of 72 on February 9, 2002. The royal family has always been complicated from the beginning. If it wasn't for the British Parliament, Queen Elizabeth would not have gotten a title at all. The British Parliament put a law into place in 1701 which made the firstborn child heir. This law restarted the royal lineage so no one can make any claims to the throne. This new law came into effect and started with Sophia of Hanover, which led to Elizabeth being queen. Elizabeth wasn't always in the spotlight. Up until the age of 25, she lived a normal life with her parents and her sister. Even though they were not always in the spotlight, Elizabeth and Margaret both were very involved in the community and their schoolwork. During World War II, when their father was king, they were very active with the war efforts, and Elizabeth even learned how to drive the medical vehicles. Elizabeth and Margaret even went on to do a live radio broadcast to reassure the country and to give people hope that the war would soon be over. One thing that many people love about the Queen is how she's always tried to help, and you never saw her sitting back doing nothing. Elizabeth achieved many things before she even became queen. Queen Elizabeth did not receive a formal education like all the members of the royal family. Elizabeth was tutored. She loved to study and learn about constitutional history and law. During most of her years as princess, she tried to volunteer and work as much as possible. When we won the war, the royal family came out and the king gave a speech to the people of Great Britain. And as he was giving the speech, you could see Queen Elizabeth still in uniform from working on the medical vehicles, waving from the balcony. King George VI passed away on February 6, 1952. He was found dead at 7:30 a.m. from a coronary thrombosis. Many say this blood clot in his heart was because of the war and had pushed his heart too far. Princess Elizabeth was in Kenya at the time when she heard of her father's passing. Even though she was automatically queen, her coronation wasn't until over a year later on June 2, 1953. When Queen Elizabeth became queen, she was already married to her third cousin, Prince Philip. Prince Philip's mother was Princess Alice, who was born in the presence of Queen Victoria, who is Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip's second great-grandmother. They got married when Elizabeth was 21 at Westminster Abbey, only 4 short years before she became queen. When she was crowned queen, Prince Philip's title changed to Prince Consort. Because of the laws in England, if Prince Philip was crowned king, he would outrank Elizabeth. So when she was crowned queen, he was called Prince Consort because he married the heir. It was rumored that the queen and her husband did not sleep in the same bed, let alone the same room. Parts of these rumors were confirmed, saying it was part of the royal tradition and culture that the queen did not always share a bed with her husband. Queen Elizabeth had many firsts, not only as queen, but as in just a monarch herself. Queen Elizabeth is the longest ruling monarch in the history of the entire world. She has also traveled internationally more than 70 times, and this is not counting before she became queen. As much as the world and Great Britain wish the Queen would rule forever, she is just as human as the rest of us. Operation London Bridge is the rules that were put into place for when Queen Elizabeth will pass away. These steps are broken up into days. According to The Guardian, on the day the Queen dies, D-Day, Edward Young, her private secretary, will be the first official to hear the news. This starts Operation London Bridge. As soon as the Queen passes, her son, Prince Charles, will automatically become king. Edward Young, her private secretary, will then call the British Prime Minister on a secure line and tell him London Bridge is down, meaning the Queen. The news of her death will be disclosed to various heads of state in all of the UK. Once the Prime Minister has received the news, the Foreign Office's Global Response Center will alert the 15 governments where Queen is considered head of state, and then they will alert the 36 other countries where she's still seen as a political figure. After this, the news of her death will be shared with the UK's Press Association and media outlets across the globe. Within hours of her death, both houses of Parliament are expected to gather. On the evening of her death, Prince Charles will make his first statement to the public as king. One day after her death, flags will be raised and Prince Charles will be proclaimed king as the longest heir awaiting the crown, as of 69 years. Over 24 hours after her death, Great Britain will start a 12-day mourning period. During this time, many proceedings will happen. The Queen's funeral, her body will be moved from Westminster Abbey, and her death will mark a big change for the world and will leave a lasting impact. Even though the Queen has no political face or is head of anything in the United States, her death will still play a huge part in the world's politics. After all, we all grew up with the Queen Elizabeth in power, and when she passes away, she will be missed by all. My name is Jacqualyn Rose, and thank you for listening to my speech.